March is stacked with new LEGO releases, and while there's lots of interesting new stuff coming up, the LEGO Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Cottage is amongst my favorite of them all. It looks stunning, makes me think of the VHS tape I watched hundreds of times as a kid, and has all of the minifigures you'd expect it to, and more. As is usually the case with these kinds of products, the building instructions have a few words about the model and the reference the model it's based off of, but I was surprised by how little is said about it when compared to other similar products. Now onto the minifigures. Snow White is a must, of course, and while it's not exclusive to this set, as it was featured before in last year's Disney Castle, it still remains as my favorite minifigure from that particular product. The dress and arm printing are beautiful, there's this cape element around the head, the cute ribbon printed onto the hairpiece, and dual expression head with the sleeping face. Prince Florian was also featured in the castle, and it kinda makes sense to be included here due to the side builds the cottage has, I'll be showing in a bit. The Evil Queen in disguise is a simpler minifigure, and again, not exclusive here, as it appeared before in the Villain Icon set, but comes with a basket and the poisoned apple. But the highlight has to be the 7 dwarfs, right? All included here, which we could not have any other way, and all are carrying a tool for work. So there's Dopey, Sneezy, Bashful, Sleepy, Happy, Grumpy, and Doc. All have alternate face expressions, out of which I find funny how Happy is even happier, Grumpy even grumpier, Sneezy sneezes with editing tricks, God bless him, Sleepy yawns, and Dopey got a kiss on his forehead. The expressions overall take some time to get used to. Their noses were such a prominent feature in the animated movie that looks kinda weird in minifigure form. Maybe something along the lines of the Pinocchio minifigure could have been made to address this look. Onto the side builds I mentioned before, the well of the opening scene of the movie is a nice addition, the place where Snow White and Prince Florian first met, justifying its inclusion in this set, beautifully decorated with the flowers and vines all over the place, a few birds to sing along, and a bucket to get some water from down there. I do feel the stone columns are way too thick and would have liked the design to have been a bit slimmer. The other extra side build is Snow White's glass coffin she was placed in after being poisoned by the Evil Queen. Some trees in the background with one featuring these relatively new leaf elements in 2 different colors, a bunch of flowers by the base that we need to take away to check out the printed 1x4 tiles that read Snow White, which is kind of a shame to have them hidden like this. The coffin can be opened like so, where you can place the sleeping princess, and I love how the designer thought of having these curved slopes here to match the back of the minifigure's dress while having space not to damage the cloth element. It's a bit creepy having the coffin, not gonna lie, but again, a good way to justify the presence of Prince Florian as a minifigure if you remember the movie scene he shows up again. But the largest appeal of this set is without a doubt the 7 Dwarfs Cottage, right? It has a medieval style feel to it, which got me thinking how would it look next to the medieval town square set or even the Lion Knight's castle, and I gotta say that it doesn't feel out of place at all, right? So I can see how these might appeal to castle fans that aren't into Disney at all, even with the open back situation, but more on that in a bit. I will say, as great as the bright light orange roof looks, it wasn't fun to build. Lots of similar pieces were used, requiring a lot of attention to avoid mistakes. The building instructions even advise to keep these 3 different types of pieces sorted for an easier time building the thing, which I did with some help if I'm being honest, and mistakes were still made. Kind of funny how they used grumpy and dopey faces to highlight the right way to sort the pieces there. But besides the roof, this whole thing was great fun to put together. These owl 1x1 tiles are prints, which this set has a ton of, as well as these 2 window shutters with the cute hearts in there. To the left side of the cottage there's a crystal station where Doc can examine the dwarves' mining hole, not the mine build that they deserved, but nice to have regardless. By the entrance door lots of animals are lying around, a few more of those botanical pieces above the door door for a great effect, which by the way is brick built with 2 black pieces for the iron details I've never seen before. This white tree kinda reminds me of the scary tree Snow White saw when lost in the forest, and on the right the stone chimney and a few more trees. No point in beating around the bush, the main complaint people will have with this set is the open back design. And while I understand where people are coming from, would you also be willing to pay at least a $50 markup in the final price for that feature without losing any of the interior details? Let me know in the comments. The open back allows for better access, more play, and obviously a better priced product, which are all good arguments against a closed design in my opinion. But talking about interiors, the cottage is stacked with them. On the left there is a fireplace with a bunch of objects around it, and a pot cooking, which the light brick included will help seeing much better. A table is set for all dwarves, and it was all made in a way where you can easily take out the seats and table to display it outside if you wish. The right side here features the organ Grumpy plays, which does feature a bunch of stickers for decoration. Down there is the kitchen area, which is really hard to access, or is it? The old cottage is hinged so that we can check the interior here slightly better, though I still find that it doesn't make that much of a difference for my big hands at least. There's a sink in there and a table by the window where a 2x2 printed round tile with the pie made by Snow White and the animals for Grumpy. In the floor above there's a bunch of containers stacked with jewels, and on the right there the 7 dwarfs bedroom is better accessed by removing this entire roof section that's just resting in place. Every other roof section is fixed in position in case you're wondering. Here we can find their beds, all made slightly different from one another, with each one even having its owner's name made with a few more stickers. Like the Snow White name tile by the coffin, kind of a shame having these neat details hidden away, but at the same time kinda cool having to uncover these little secrets to show to people so I can see the appeal there. And there was even some room for a lurking spider, a lost sock, and a cup up here. Recognizing the references and details surrounding all of the little builds and characters is part of the joy that this set brings me as a lifelong fan of the movie, so my opinion can be a bit biased, but as a LEGO fan the build looks incredible, and apart from the boring roof structures it was really fun to put together, also giving castle fans another great product for their displays. The price of $220 for a licensed Disney set with lots of prints, 10 minifigures and little over 2,200 pieces is surprisingly decent, making this product my overall favorite of the entire March wave of releases. The LEGO Harry Potter sorting hat was an amazing surprise, and I can't wait to put my hands on the new R2-D2 and midi-scale Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, but for the time being I'm content. There's still a bunch more stuff I need to cover before the end of the month, but that's for another video. If you enjoyed this one though, consider subscribing to support the channel.